Sometimes people have a hard time watching you blossom into a new person because one, they are not a part of that journey with you. And sadly, sometimes that person might still be in the same place that they started. So it's hard watching you grow and blossom into this new person. And because of that, these people will constantly try to remind you of your past, remind you of who you once were, to kind of try to keep you in that space. Simply so you can doubt yourself, doubt your growth, doubt who you are today. So if you have anybody like this around you, constantly reminding you of your past, attempting to interfere with your growth, not able to accept you evolving, go ahead and get these people from around you. Get rid of these people while we're still fresh in the new year. Friends, family, romantic partners, having anyone like this around you is going to keep you from reaching your full potential. Their sole purpose is to bring you down, keep you at a level that is more suitable for them. Your growth, your evolution is threatening because it reminds them that they are not doing and they are in the exact same space that they began. So no matter how far you go, how much you achieve, how much you blossom into this new person, they will continue to work overtime to remind you of your past, remind you of who you used to be. And they won't stop until they feel like they've humbled you or they can get you to revert back to that old person, those old behaviors, that old way of thinking. And I know we all know somebody like this, so go ahead and get rid of them so you can guarantee yourself a fruitful, an abundant year.
People have a way of constantly trying to remind you or associate you with your past. I'm here to tell you to never be a prisoner of your past. It was a lesson and not a life sentence. Indeed, you do not live in the past anymore.
You have to get away from people that keep holding you to your past. You got to get away from people that just don't see the change in your life. You got to get away from them because the only reason why they don't see the change in you because there's not no change in them. They still doing what they was doing 10 years ago, 15 years ago. They still the same person. That's why they don't see change in you. No matter what you do, who you have become, they still don't see a change in you because there's not no change in them and there's never been a change in them. So they don't know what change is. They don't know what change look like. They don't know what change feel like. You got to get away from those type of people. Just keep holding you to your past. Be blessed.
Hey beauties, welcome to my channel. My name is Tia LaRae for those of you who are new here. And for my returning subbies, hey girl. So today we are going to be talking about people who want to keep you stuck in your past. Y'all, do not let these folks hold you to someone that you used to be. It is 100% okay to evolve. And if you have people in your life who are constantly reminding you of your past, you have to cut them off because they're going to try to keep you in the same space that you were in and mess up your journey of elevation. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button to join the Elevated Beauty community. Over here, we're all about elevation, inspiration, motivation, education. Yeah, all that. So let's get into the video.
There's a difference between being stupid and staying stupid. Catch it. People love to bring up your past to diminish your present. Oh, you remember back in the day when you was doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Oh, you remember when you was with so-and-so? Baby, I've done a lot of stupid things in my life, but I've never stayed there. I've grown. I've changed. I've evolved. What's your excuse? Since you want to be messy, let's talk about your life. I know some things about you.
When it comes to your past, there are 4 important things that I want you to remember. Number 1, your past does not define you. Number 2, your past does not determine what you're capable of achieving in your future. Number 3, the more that you hold on to your past by thinking about it, feeling ashamed of it, regretting things, the more that you do that, the more that you're going to relive it. And number 4, if you did bad things in your past, just learn the lesson. Move on. Because you can do bad things, learn the lesson, and realize that doesn't make you a bad person. And when you learn the lesson and you carry it forward with you, that's how you free yourself from your past and you create a bright, beautiful, new future.
Do not go back to your past. There is a reason that you are no longer friends with those people. There is a reason why you are no longer back in that place. It's because you are moving forward. You are going higher. You are rising. Do not go back. Do not allow people from your past to come back. And I think a lot of times, we get caught up, especially if they were an old friend and you see them again and you reminisce about old memories and you get caught up in the nostalgia and just those good times that you used to have. And you're like, oh, dang, like they were so fun. And like, I miss them. There is a reason why you guys are no longer friends, and remember that reason. Not saying to hold grudges at all, because we are to forgive and move on. I'm just saying, when you're rising forward, when God is taking you to new levels, when He is leading your path, and especially when you're coming and following Him, people from your past are going to come up, because they're going to be little tests. As soon as you start doing good, or you start doing well, or you're pushing forward, the devil likes to send people from your past to try and get you off track. But don't fall for it. Remember your focus. Remember where you were going and where God is taking you. Because even though it's nice to catch up and it's fun to relive those stories that you guys once had together, it's in the past. We can't live for the past. We are living in the now. We need to continue to walk forward and to move past that, because you can't bring the old into the new. We need to continue to move forward, rise higher, be better, do better. You don't want to bring that old life into your new life. You don't want to cross mix, because it can affect the now. It can affect the future. It could hinder this new life and this new walk that God has been leading you into. And same thing with a place. If God has called you from a place and He has taken you somewhere new, do not go back to that old. When God is leading your steps, He's going to do a new thing. He doesn't want to use the old. He doesn't want you to go back to your old life. And even if it feels like it's getting hard, He's testing to see, are you going to trust Him to keep moving forward? Are you going to trust Him to sustain you in this new place? Are you going to trust Him to take you to that destination that He has already promised you that you would go to? So if you run into people from the past, you can say hi, chat for a little bit, but okay, goodbye. Like, I got to keep moving. Like, you want to hang out again? No, I'm too busy. I can't do that. Or no, like, I don't feel like, don't let them suck you back into that old life. You were called out for a reason. The friendship was ended for a reason. Move on.
Have you ever had a friend or associate who only talks about the past? As in, no matter what topic of conversation you and this person might be having, it will always inevitably lead to events that happened in the past. People who are overly obsessed with events of the past are never concerned about the present, let alone the future. There's nothing wrong with nostalgia, but there's definitely something wrong with someone who always wants to go down memory lane, dig up and talk about things that have been buried, things that you'd much rather forget and leave in your past. I used to have this one friend, and we'd always have various topic of conversation, and regardless of what conversations we'd have, it'd always lead back to the way things were in secondary school. And you could tell by the way he spoke, he had grudges, deep regrets, and rooted emotions of the way things happen in school. And to make matters worse, what he'd do is remind me of the things that happened to me in secondary school and try to make me feel the same type of emotions he felt for the way things happen in school. It's only until you wise up that you realize some people voluntarily just want to stay stuck in the past for whatever reason. But one thing that always, has been profound to me is why they try to make other people stay in the past as well. It makes no sense. We all have things that we'd much rather forget, skeletons in our closet, things that we're going to take with us to the grave. But if there's one thing we don't need, is we don't need friends or people around us that are going to constantly remind us of those things in the past. It does nothing for us but evoke negative emotions. Believe it or not, some people don't even want you to move on from your past. Some people will desperately try to remind you of the reality of your past because they want you to be stagnant like them. But I'm so sorry, time travelers. Us that have dealt with our past, we don't stay there. We leave it behind and we move forward because there's nothing that our past can do for us. The only benefit of reliving the past or going down memory lane is just the lessons that you can learn from certain mistakes that you did and just see, have I grown from the type of person I was before? For me, anyone that tries to maliciously or cunningly bring you back to events that happened in your past, I'd highly suggest you distance yourself from them. Keep them far away from you because there's nothing positive that they're going to bring to your life.
If you're obsessed by memories of the past, more than 18 months old, and most of those are negative, so anxiety provoking most often, then there's a lot of you that's stuck in the past. And what that means is you didn't map the territory well enough, and the parts of your brain that are alarm systems, anxiety systems, are saying, no, there's holes in the way you're looking at the world. There's holes in the way that you're looking in the world. And you fell in them once, and you don't know where they are, and you don't know how to fill them, and you don't know how to walk around them. And so you can't forget them, and you can't forget them, you can't forget them, you can't forget them. So you have recurring nightmares, for example, or a good example of that sort of thing happen. But in any case, if you have memories like that, you remember them, they make you feel anxious and negative, you're stuck back there. Your body is still reacting as if there's an emergency that could happen again that you haven't fixed.
Narcissists and toxic people will use your past against you. And of course, if you're new here, I'm a diagnosed narcissist and I point on toxic people's traits and behaviors. So when I say that a narcissistic person will use your past against you, I also mean the past before you got together, before you got into a relationship dynamic with them at all. This is why you see a lot of narcissistic people that continuously bring up your bum ass baby daddy or your horrible bitter baby mama and things of that nature. They hold that against you because that's like a strike. Like, how dare you be with this person who is lesser than me? You make me feel bad about myself because of your previous choices in life. A lot of toxic narcissistic people think that way, y'all, and will use that against you. Because it's like we are guilty by association sometimes. Like, because I'm talking to you now, it's just like me and your ex are on the same level because you're the same person that dealt with both of us. A lot of narcissistic people want to be the best thing that has ever happened to you in your life. You cannot get past that, y'all. They will continuously bring it up as long as it's valid to them and as long as they feel like they can weaponize your past in an argument or weaponize your past to excuse some of their present behaviors right now. That last right now wasn't needed. That's how it goes though, y'all. Anything that you've done in the past can and will be used against you in the court of narcissism. It's like the Miranda rights of narcissistic toxic relationships, y'all. And in a narcissistic person's mind, there's no excuse for it. You can't say I was young and dumb. They don't care, y'all. And the crazy thing about it, if you continue to stay in a relationship dynamic with this type of person, they will never ever let it go. This is always going to be valid, y'all. Always. 10 years later, they'll still be bringing up your choice in baby mama or baby daddy or exes, for that matter. It doesn't even have to be a previous ex that you've had a child with. It could just be a previous ex that you've dated or had a relationship with and whatnot. Just an ex in general. And if you get that narcissistic person mad enough, anything that you've divulged to them about that ex, like let's say the ex used to put their hands on you, they'll say you deserved it. See, I see that's why your ex used to beat your ass, because you deserved it. Because look at how you acted right now. You definitely deserve everything they did, everything that they did to you. And it doesn't have to be an ex, y'all. They will use your past like a parent against you. Whatever your parents done to you or your relatives have done to you, what your friends have done to you, it's always going to be your fault in the eyes of a narcissistic person. But, the double standards exist, y'all. You cannot use a narcissistic person's past against them. It is not valid. It will never, it doesn't work. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I was just laughing because it's comical, the way it goes, y'all, the double standards that exist. But if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Mental Healness. Peace.
One thing I've noticed is that people will try to hold you to your past. They would deliberately ignore your growth and bring old energy into your life. Even if it's clear that you've grown, changed, or matured, people will really try their luck. However, people can't undo the work that you've done on yourself unless you allow them to. Some people just want to hold on to who you used to be, but you have the choice not to entertain that.
Everyone has a past. Everyone has had experiences that they enjoyed, experiences that they didn't enjoy, things that they probably wouldn't do again if they had the chance, regrets for someone they went home with that night. Everyone has these experiences, and any guy, whether it comes from insecurity or biology or anywhere else, any guy who makes a big deal out of that is an utter hypocrite.
People have to try to paint a bad picture of you so they can try to feel better about them. So they got to try to come up with some narrative in their mind to try to justify the reason that they're treating you a certain way, because if they really reflect on how you really did treat them, then you will put hot coals on their head, because when you do good to people who do evil to you, it hurts them. So they try to make it seem like you are so bad to them so that they can feel good about, okay. So could it be you have joy robbers? People that are drinking all of your joy and then act victims to crimes they committed. They're acting like they're bleeding when they stabbed you.
God said when people want to remind you of your past, baby, they just showing you where they at in your past. That's it. Keep going. And you allowed to keep going. God said that trying to make sense of everything that a person done to hurt you in their motivations, that battle was the Lord's.
Folks love to bring up your past when they can't bring down your future. Catch it. Child, please. My past is not my kryptonite, and it sure ain't my Achilles heel. So hit me with your best shots. Fire away. Because you can't shame me more than I shamed myself when I was going through it. So, one thing that I know is that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. And the devil is going to try everything he can to keep you from fulfilling God's purpose and plan for your life. That thing is going to pull everything out the bag to keep you from getting what God has in store for you. He gonna bring up the fact that you dropped out of high school and had to get your GED. He gonna bring up the fact that you don't got a good relationship with your family. He gonna bring up the fact that you was broke and got evicted. He gonna bring up the fact that you a single mother. He gonna bring up the fact that your marriage didn't work out the way you thought it was gonna work out. But guess what, devil? You can't use my past against me when I've already healed from it. Gotcha. Baby, you can't bring up my past when I've already grown from it. When I've already learned from it. You can't even do that. No. So the next time somebody try to bring up your past to try to diminish what God is doing for you in the now, to try to diminish what God has for you in the future, hit them with the so what? So what? So what?
One of my biggest pet peeves is when people try to keep you in the past. They continue to bring up who you were before, and they refuse to acknowledge who you are now. You've grown from the person they knew years ago, but for some reason, they still try to talk down on you as if you haven't changed yourself for the better. Like you haven't accomplished certain things in life. You've reached new heights and milestones. You've reached new goals that you had. They still hold you to your past because it makes them more comfortable about who they are. There's a saying that people fear what they don't understand. So because they don't understand you, because you reinvented yourself, or they aren't trying to understand because you've reinvented yourself, what do? Well, they have to act as if it doesn't exist. They won't acknowledge you. They have to keep bringing up your past and how you used to do things. Remember when you used to do this and that? And sometimes you're like, bro, I'm not even the same person I was yesterday, let alone years ago when you knew me. You still need to catch up on the version of me 5 rebrands ago, before who I am now. And the thing is, people know deep down you're different. They know you're not the same. They know you've changed for the better. But here's the thing. If they were to acknowledge it, they'd have to come to terms with the fact that maybe they have not changed. And I'm not talking about outward appearance, but inside. Inside, they haven't changed at all. They're still immature. There are some people who you can know for years, and even though they've gotten older, they don't get more mature. And when you see them or hear from them, it kind of just like repels you in a way because you're on a different vibration. You're on a different frequency than they are. So you don't mix. I guess the point I'm making here is if people don't respect or refuse to acknowledge your growth or how you've reinvented yourself, you may want to consider letting those people go, because at some point they will try to make you feel less of yourself, make you question yourself, like you're crazy, like you're doing something wrong. These people are so twisted, they'll make it seem like you're the one that's off your rocker because you're trying to get better, because you're focused. They will do and say subtle and covert things to try and discourage you, knock you off course. At the end of the day, it's all about control. Don't let these people win. Cut them off if they don't respect you or acknowledge who you are now.
These were some great takes on people who want to keep you stuck in your past. Y'all, if you have anyone in your life who is constantly holding your past against you, they are not for you. And they need to be called out immediately, and they need to be left in the past, because that hinders your growth, and that can hold you into something that you've already evolved from, and you don't even realize it. So, yeah, definitely take a look at your circle, and don't be afraid to call out bad behavior, because that's exactly what that is. So, thank y'all for watching the video. If you're still here, shout out to you. Y'all leave some kisses in the comments and let me know that you're part of the Elevated Beauty community. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video.